ओम अज्ञानतिमिरन्दस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितमेन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितमेन भूतले स्वयं रूपकदामह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं गुरो श्रीरुद्रकमलं श्रीगुरुन् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणा रघुनाथावितं तं सजीवं सादैतं साधुतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखावितांश्च हे कृष्णकरुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा. Welcome to this discussion on Bhagavad Gita as it is. So in last week discussion, we completed the fourth chapter, and now we are into the fifth chapter. So if you see Bhagavad Gita as it is, chapter 4 is called Transcendental Knowledge, and it comes just between chapter 3 and chapter 5. Chapter 3 is called Karma Yoga, and chapter 5 is called as Karma Yoga in, that is, action in Krishna consciousness. The fourth chapter is called as Jnana Yoga or Transcendental Knowledge. The fourth chapter is also called as Jnana Karma Sannyasa Yoga. Prabhupada is calling it as Transcendental Knowledge. This means, so Jnana Karma Sannyasa Yoga, this means that Jnana, one understands how one can practice karma, that one does renunciation within karma. It is not just sannyasa, but sannyasa in karma and not sannyasa of karma. This is the base discussed in the fourth chapter. Practically, how we do this is explained in fifth chapter. Krishna will fundamentally talk about renunciation in karma. The message of Bhagavad Gita is that action itself can lead into disentanglement and liberation if action is done intelligently. So, if you see the fourth chapter, it concluded with a very good shloka. Tasmat ajnana sammutam irtastam jnanasitatmana chitvainam samshayam yogam atistotista bharata. Armed with yoga, O Bharata, stand and fight. So now, fifth chapter begins with Arjuna having a doubt. Let us go to the so fifth chapter. So there are um, 6 sections in this. It's a short chapter with only 29 shlokas, but it is a very important section. So this starts with a question. Arjuna questions Krishna about one important thing: sannyasa or karma yoga. So this is a doubt. So that is a doubt. Whenever you have a question, that means the source of the question is a doubt. The basis of this doubt is coming from two shlokas. So let us look at the shlokas. So first shloka is 4.39. In 4.39, what Krishna is telling, Shraddhava labate jnanam tat para samayetendriya jnanam labdva param shantim achirena digacchati. So Krishna is talking about achirena shantim. So where is fight in this? A faithful man who is dedicated to transcendental knowledge and who subdues his senses is eligible to achieve such knowledge, and having achieved it, he quickly attains the supreme spiritual peace. So this is one shloka. The other shloka is interesting one. Yoga sannyasta karmana jnana sinchinna samshayam atmavantam na karmani nibadananti dhananjaya. So Krishna is here talking about karma sannyasa. Sannyasasta karma. Sannyasa, one who has renounced the fruits of action. So one who acts in, so the Prabhupada is translating it as one who acts in devotional service, renouncing the fruits of action, and whose doubts have been destroyed by transcendental knowledge, is situated factually in the self, thus is not bound by reactions of the work, O conqueror of riches. These two themes that one has to give up karma, um, coupled with mention of fight, gives Arjuna a doubt. Where does the doubt come from? The last shloka tells Atistotista Bharata. So these two themes are confusing. This gives a doubt. Atistotista Bharata means armed with yoga, O Bharata, stand and fight. This instruction seems to be complete in contrast to the tenure, tone, mood of the fourth chapter. So the last shloka is completely in contrast. This creates a doubt in the mind of Arjuna. Therefore, in the fifth chapter, Arjuna questions Krishna. So there is no, when there were dialogue was happening between Krishna and Arjuna, there is no fourth chapter or fifth chapter. But here we see that there is a new theme starting with this question. Therefore, Acharyas have given it a specific name, and here it is called as Karma Yoga, action in Krishna consciousness. So, in principle, the question is similar to Arjuna's question in the third chapter. Some of the chapters in Bhagavad Gita are similar. The third and fifth chapter are similar. Seventh and ninth chapter are also similar. Though the themes in this chapter are similar, whenever Krishna wants to talk the same thing for the second time, he takes this subject deeper. He gives a deeper understanding of the chapter, of the subject. Let's see how this pans out, or how this happens in the fifth chapter. Now let us go to the overview. So it starts with the question, Arjuna's question, sannyasa or karma yoga, which is better, renunciation of work or working with renunciation? Um, and shloka number 2 to 6, it is saying karma yoga is equal, but easier than sannyasa. So this is the theme. We will elaborate it when we go to that shloka. 7 to 16, by fixing your mind on Atma, Karma Yogi remains free from bondage. And shloka number 17 to 29, by fixing mind on Paramatma, Karma Yogi attains liberation. And then shloka number 27 to 28 is mainly focusing on Ashtanga Yoga, which is discussed in chapter number 6. And the concluding verse of fifth chapter is speaking about Bhakti Yoga, which is elaborated in shloka number 7 to 12. Now, some more understanding on this subject. So, if a man is suffering from fever, the treatment involves two parts, namely the medicine to reduce the infection, and then second one is to take healthy food to build strength. Knowledge of soul is like medicine, and knowledge of the super soul is like the healthy food. So Krishna is not recommending Jnana Yoga or Ashtanga Yoga. This he will elaborate in next chapters. That is why we have that is why we have Krishna gives a glimpse of what Jnana Yoga is, what is Ashtanga Yoga. But we know at the end it is Bhakti Yoga, which is what Krishna is recommending. It is full surrender unto him and act only for his desire. So that is Bhakti Yoga, and this one we will see as no, as we go through other chapters, we will see deeper insights on these subjects. Right now, let us focus on the first shloka of chapter 5, where Arjuna is asking the question. अर्जुनोवाच सन्न्यासकर्मणां कृष्ण पुनर्योगं च संशसि यच्छ्रेय एतयो एकं तन्मे ब्रूहि सुनिश्चितम्. Sannyasa Karmanam Krishna. Arjuna said, "Oh Krishna, first of all, you ask me to renounce work, and then again you recommend work with devotion. Now, will you kindly tell me definitely which of the two is more beneficial?" So, Arjuna is here referring to verse number 4.39, which is Shraddhava Lavate Jnanam Tat Par Samayatendriya. Jnanam Lagva Param Shantim Achirena Adhigacchati. A faithful man who is dedicated to transcendental knowledge and who subdues his senses is eligible to achieve such liberation, and having achieved, he quickly attains spiritual peace. So, what is this? This is you ask me to renounce work, and then let us take the shloka number 42. Tasmat ajnana sambhutam ritastam jnanasinatmana chitvainam samshayam yogam atistotist bharata. Therefore, the doubts which have arisen in your out of ignorance, should be slashed by weapon of knowledge. Armed with yoga, O Bharata, stand and fight. So, now, Sannyasa Karmanam Krishna. What does this mean? Sannyasa Karmanam. This is referring to shloka number 4.39, which is this one. Dedicated to transcendental knowledge, and he subdues his senses. So this is Sannyasa Karmanam Krishna. Now then, Punar Yogam Cha Samshashi. Punar Yogam Cha Samshashi refers to shloka number 4.42. Therefore, the doubts which have arisen in you out of ignorance should be slashed by weapon of knowledge. Armed with yoga, fight. So uh, here he's talking about Punar Yogam Cha Samshashi. He's talking about yoga. So now Arjuna is asking, Yat Shreya Itayoreka. Tell me for definite. One, you recommend work with devotion. Which one of it is benefit? One he wants. Of these two options, Arjuna wants Krishna to confirm one thing which is suitable for his long-term benefit. Here we see persistence of Arjuna on one action that suits him in long term. Shreya means long term, more beneficial in long term. Sunishchitam. Sunishchitam means Nishchitam itself is a strong word indicating concreteness that Arjuna is expecting here. This word su is increasing the gravity or importance of this clarity in the direction in current context or the situation. So Arjuna is forcing Krishna to tell which one he has to follow. So Prabhupada is giving a um, summary of what we can expect in this chapter. So he's saying he appears not to have understood that work in full knowledge is non-reactive and therefore is same as inaction. He inquires therefore where he should cease work altogether or work with full knowledge. So Prabhupada is already giving a gist of what Krishna will be explaining in subsequent shlokas. Now let us go to the next shloka. Shri Bhagavan Vacha Sannyasa Karma Yogascha Niya Shreyas Kara Ubo Tayastu Karma Sannyasa Karma Yogo Vishishyate. The personality of Godhead replied, the renunciation of work and work in devotion are sannyasa karma yogascha, or karma yoga, work in devotion, karma yogascha, are both good for liberation. But of the two, work in devotional service is better than renunciation of work. The point is in Bhagavad Gita is that we should not remain bound in material existence. So, what causes uh, what causes bondage? Um What causes bondage in material existence is attachment. To the extent one does not have attachment, to that extent he becomes free from bondage. Krishna is pointing out that both renouncing of work and working without attachment to fruits of work do not bind us. Between renouncing work and working without attachments to the fruits of work, working without attachments to the fruits of work is preferred by Krishna as it is easy to practice. Typically, this is karma yoga being superior than karma sannyasa. So Srila Prabhupada in the purport does not focus much on comparing these two things. Srila Prabhupada mainly focuses that we should not get bound by karma. So Srila Prabhupada, if you see, activities aimed at improving the standard of bodily comfort, one is sure to transmigrate to different types of body, thereby continuing in material bondage perpetually. So if you see this shlokas, let us open Srimad Bhagavatam shlokas. नूनं प्रमत्तः कुरुते विकर्म यद् इन्द्रियप्रीत्या आपृणोति न साधु मने यतद् आत्मनोऽयम् असन api kleshada asadeha. So the material body gives insignificant pleasure and significant pain. The pleasure lasts for few seconds. So if you see, when a person considers sense gratification, the aim of life, he certainly becomes mad after materialistic living and engages in all kind of sinful activity. He does not know that due to his past misdeeds, he has already received a body which, although temporary, is the cause of his misery. Actually, the living entity should not have taken on the material body, but he has been rewarded the material body for sense gratification. Therefore, I think it not befitting an intelligent man to involve himself again in the activities of sense gratification by which he perpetually gets material bodies one after the other. So material body, the point is that material body gives insignificant pleasure and significant pain. Pleasure lasts for few seconds or minutes, but pain persists for long duration. Thus, the material body is just a source of pain. How long does the pain last? This is explained in the next verse. Let us see the next verse. Parabhavas tavat abodha jato yavana jignasta atma tattvam yavat kriyas tavat idam manovai karmatmakam ena sharira bandhaha. As long as one does not inquire about spiritual values of life, one is defeated and subjected to miseries arising from ignorance, be it sinful or pious. Karma has its resultant actions. If a person is engaged in any kind of karma, his mind is called as karmatmaka, colored with fruitive activity. As long as the mind is impure, consciousness is unclear. And as long as one is absorbed in fruitive activity, he has to accept a material body. So as long as a person is ignorant, he will be suffering. He is ignorant as long as he does not inquire about soul. So by default, we will be then doing only material activity as we are ignorant of the spiritual activity. And as long as we do not have spiritual inquiry, we continue our kriya. Kriya means work. What kriya is that? One will act for karma and hence he will get bound by the body. Kriya is the activities that we have to do in our daily life. So when he does that karma, he will be bound to the body. So that is karmatmakam. He just kriya means fruitive activities. When we do this, we get absorbed in material activities and we get bound to the body. In reality, the soul and body are Soul and body are separate. They are like driver and the car. They are like two distinct things. Driver can get out of the car and walk to some other place as well. He can take another car or reach home and may not need car at all. However, for all practical purposes, we can consider them as identical. In our mind, the concept of soul is a theoretical concept. Therefore, we consider the body and soul identical for all practical purposes. The soul has become melded into the body. From our experiential knowledge, we could differentiate between soul and the body. This is because of our enjoymentality. This enjoymentality wields the soul to the body. So, Sharira Bandha. Thus, one is bound by the desire to enjoy the body. Thus, we engage in activities by which we can get sense gratification. There is a mention of fruitive activity in this verse, which is Kriya. You can see Kriya, which is fruitive activities. This Kriya is done for what? How is sense gratification different from fruitive activity? There is a mention of fruitive activity in the sloka. So, how is sense gratification different from fruitive activity? The similarity is that both are done to satisfy the senses. The difference is that sense gratification is done to satisfy the senses directly, whereas fruitive activity is done which leads to sense gratification. So it is not directly we get involved in sense gratification um, when we do fruitive activities. So the next shloka is also very nice here. एवं मनः कर्म वशं प्रयुङ्क्ते अविद्यम अविद्याय आत्मनि उपदीयमाने प्रीतिर्न यावन् मयि वासुदेवे न मुच्येत देह योगेन तावत्. Here we see, so what is the translation? When the living entity is covered by mode of ignorance, he does not understand the individual living being and the supreme living being, and his mind is subjugated by fruitive activity. Therefore, until one has love for Lord Vasudeva, who is none other than myself, here actually it is the shloka from Rishabhadev. So Rishabhadev is telling myself is certainly not delivered from having to accept a material body again and again. Here, one important word is used, Deha Yogena, from the contact with material body is used. Deha Yogena is used. The soul is bound to the body. Till the time there is no attraction and affection for Lord Vasudeva. What happens when we develop attraction for Lord Vasudeva? The mind becomes free from enjoying mentality. It is this enjoying mentality that binds the body and soul together. Thus, by developing the attraction for Lord Vasudeva, we are able to overcome the bondage with the material body. So Srila Prabhupada's entire purport focuses on theme of bondage to the body. If you see here, so his entire purport is focusing only on bondage to the body. There is one interesting line here which Prabhupada mentions. Yeah, therefore, jnana or knowledge that one is not this material body but spirit soul is not sufficient for realization. One has to act in the status of spirit soul, otherwise, there is no escape from material bondage. Action in Krishna consciousness is not, however, action on fruity platform. In full knowledge, strengthen one's advancement in real knowledge. Without Krishna consciousness, mere renunciation of fruitive activities does not actually purify the heart of the conditioned soul. As long as heart is not purified, one has to work on fruitive platform. But action in Krishna consciousness automatically helps one escape the result of fruitive action so that one need not descend to the material platform. Therefore, action in Krishna consciousness is always superior to renunciation, which always entails a risk of falling. Renunciation without Krishna consciousness is incomplete, as is confirmed by Srila Rupa Goswami. So, the point here which Prabhupada is bringing out is that Krishna consciousness, that is action for Krishna, is much better than renunciation of work. How? Because by acting for Vasudeva, and by when we act, we think about Vasudeva. By when we think about Vasudeva, we are not thinking about our enjoyment. Hence, this enjoying tendency is slowly forgotten, and we start working when we start working for Vasudeva. And this enjoying mentality, independent of Vasudeva, is bondage to material world. So we are slowly cutting that bondage to material world. That is what Prabhupada is mentioning. So he is telling work in devotion is much superior because it helps us to think about Krishna, and this thinking about Krishna is helping us to cut our enjoying mentality, which is binding us to this material world. Now let us go back to the thing. So Prabhupada is quoting the verse from Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Prapanchikate buddhaya hari sambandhi vastuna mumukshibi parityago vairagyam falgu katayate. So when a person eager to achieve liberation renounces things related to Supreme Personality of Godhead, thinking them to be material, their renunciation is incomplete. Here, the point is that we engage the material thing in service of Krishna rather than for our enjoyment. This comes from the understanding that nothing belongs to us and hence engage everything in the service of Krishna. This includes even our body. Thus, the only one thing we have to renounce that we have only one thing that we need to know is that we have nothing to renounce. Nothing belongs to us. Everything belongs to Krishna. Only thing that we have to renounce is the illusion that we have something to renounce. So this is based on the illusion that I possess things of the world. When we are out of that illusion, then we realize that I am Krishna's. I am Krishna's property. Then we get the understanding that Krishna is mine. There's a famous song, Amito Tuma, Tumito Amar by Bhaktivinoda Thakur. The meaning is that I am yours and you are mine. Bhaktivinoda Thakur is praying to Krishna. So that is all it matters. In this way, so that is all we need to understand. And then this way we make steady spiritual advancement. So we need not have to renounce work. We have to act for Krishna. The main point from Srila Prabhupada's purport is that we need not have to renounce our professions, but we have to renounce the thought that we are enjoyers. We need to understand that Krishna is the enjoyer and we are cooperators in his enjoyment. We enjoy as subordinate enjoyers. Krishna will now move the thought towards Karma Yoga. So let us go to the next shloka. नेयस नित्य सन्यासी यो न द्वेष्टि न कांक्षति निर्द्वंद ही महाबाहो सुखम बंधात pramuchyate. One who neither hates nor desires the fruits of his activity is known to be always renounced. Such a person, free from all dualities, easily overcomes material bondage and is completely liberated. O mighty armed Arjuna. The point is, Krishna is point that Krishna is making is renunciation in action uh, is much better than renunciation of action. There is neither anchoring nor resentment. This means we become free from duality. This happens when one doesn't have any attachment. The detachment comes from Atmanyana. Later, Krishna will talk about Bhagavat Jnana. With this knowledge, we act to please Krishna, and in this way, our anchorings and resentment go away. We are connected with material things only for serving Krishna. So this is very important. So therefore, what happens is renunciation in action becomes much better. The next point which Krishna is telling is Sukam Bandhat Pramuchyate. Happily from bondage is become completely liberated. Pramuchyate means activity is natural to us, giving up activity is unnatural to us. Thus, it is easier and natural to do activity and stay free from bondage rather than staying inactive and seek freedom from bondage. Externally, inactivity may seem simpler and easy. We will sit and do nothing. Internally, inactivity is very difficult because body has lot of passion which makes us do activity. This passion will not allow us to stay peaceful. Thus, externally, inactivity may seem simple, but internally it is very difficult. Alternatively, externally activity may seem difficult, but internally it is very easy. So, according to our nature, not just conditioned nature, but also eternal nature, we are active in service to Krishna. So, Sukham Bandha Pramuchate, happily or easily, one becomes free from bondage. So, Srila Prabhupada explains in the purport that the devotee is always liberated and he is always in service of Krishna for pleasure of Krishna. So if we read the purport, one who is fully in Krishna consciousness is always a renouncer because he feels neither hatred nor desire for results of his action. Such a renouncer dedicated to transcendental loving service of the Lord is fully qualified in knowledge because he knows his constitutional position in relationship with Krishna. He knows fully well that Krishna is whole and that he is part and parcel of Krishna. Such knowledge is perfect because it is qualitatively and quantitatively correct. The concept of oneness with Krishna is incorrect because the part cannot be equal to whole. Knowledge that one is one in quality yet different in quantity is correct transcendental knowledge, leading one to become full in himself, having nothing to aspire to or lament over. There is no duality in his mind because whatever he does for Krishna. Being thus freed from the platform of dualities, he is liberated even in this material world. Thus, the devotee does not think that this is good or this is bad. He only thinks if it can be used in service of Krishna. Thus, he is free from dualities. For the service to Krishna can be performed in all situations. The content of the service can change, but the possibility of engaging in service of Krishna in all situations is there. Thus, devotees liberated in all situations. So, how we can become free from, remain free from uh, dualities or get ourselves free from bondage in all circumstances? Krishna explains in the next shloka. Let us go to the next shloka, shloka number 5.4 Shankyayoga पृथक्बाला प्रवदन्ति न पंडिता एकम अपि आसित सम्यक उभयोर विन्दते phalam. Only the ignorant speak of devotional service, karma yoga, as being different from analytical study of the material world. Shankya. Those who are actually learned say that he who applies himself well to one of these paths achieves the result of both. So, Shankya Yoga Pratak Balaha. Balaha. Here, Shankya refers to the analytical study of the world. So, we can connect it to sloka number 5.2. Sannyasa karma yogascha niyashreyasya karaupa tayostu karma sannyata karma yoga vishishyate. So here Shankya refers to karma sannyasa, renunciation of work, and so renunciation of work is Shankya yoga. Yoga refers to karma phala sannyasa. So this yoga here refers to karma sannyasa yoga, karma phala sannyasa. So those who think that these two are different are bala. So if we go back, Sankhya yoga pratak balaha. Balaha means less intelligent people. So those who think that these two are bala means a childish or less intelligent person. So and then pravadanti na panditaha. Pravadanti say never pandita, the learned. So what did they say that in comparison to bala there are pandita. So there is pandita and there is bala. So there are intelligent people and there are less intelligent people. So pandita means intelligent or wise. These wise people do not say that they are different. Ekam api asita samyak. What is ekam api asita samyak? Ekam means in one. Api even asita being situated samyak complete. Krishna now explains how they are same. If a person is situated in one of them, then he gets the result of both. This means that the ultimate goal is same. Ubayor vindate phalam. Both enjoys the same result. So one person who is situated in both gets the same result. So this how he gets the same result is explained in the next shloka. The aim of analytical study of material world is to find soul of existence. The soul of material world is Vishnu or a super soul. Devotional service to Lord entitled service to super soul. One process is to find the root of the tree, and other is to water the root. The real student of Sankhya philosophy finds the root of the material Vishnu and then in perfect knowledge engages himself in the service of the Lord. Therefore, in essence, there is no difference between two because aim of both is Vishnu. Those who do not know the ultimate end say the purpose of Sankhya and Karma Yoga are not same. But one who has learned knows the unifying aim in the different processes. So the end, we have to keep the end in mind. So when we keep end in mind, the end is Vishnu or satisfaction of Vishnu in either cases. Therefore, both are same, which is Sankhya Yoga and Karma Yoga are same. Let us go to the next shloka. Yat Shankhe prapyate sthanam tadyoge api gamyate ekam shankyam cha yogam cha yah pashyati sa pashyati. One who knows that the position reached by means of analytical study can also be attained by devotional service, and who therefore sees analytical study and devotional service to be on the same level, sees things as they are. So, what is the benefit? They see the things as they are. Yet Shanke prapyate sthanam. Here, Shankya here refers to karma sannyasa. Sthanam here refers to destination. Yes, Shankya prapyate sthanam. The one who follows karma sannyasa. Tad yoga api gamyate. That destination is obtained by practice of yoga. Tad yoga, the same sthanam is obtained by tad yoga api gamyate. Yoga here refers to karma yoga. Ekam shankyam cha yogam cha. So these two are same. Yah pashyati, sa pashyati. So one who sees it this way actually sees the thing as it is. So we see that there is diversity in the path, but there is uniformity in the goal. This verse do not say that all paths lead to the same goal. There are only two paths described here. One is intellectual path of introspection. This is path of inaction based on jnana yoga. And other is the path of action based on karma yoga. So inaction in jnana yoga, action in karma yoga. Jnana yoga focuses on only activities which are diverted towards Krishna, and therefore the focus is to gain knowledge what actions we need to do, what inactions we should what actions we need to avoid. and the Karma Yoga focuses on act for Krishna and give the fruits of that work to Krishna. So only these two paths lead to the same goal. It is not all paths leading to the same goal. Um, all paths leading to the same goal is not even logical teaching. So we need not to have to understand it in a scriptural way. It is no way related to scripture. So now there is one interesting shloka, shloka number 4.11, which we need to understand in this context. Ye yata mam prapadyante tam stataiva bhajamyaham mama vartaman vartante manusha manusha partha sarvasha. As all surrender unto me, I reward them accordingly. Everyone follows my path in all respects, O son of Pritha. So is this telling that all all paths leading to Krishna? So we need to understand this. So in this sloka, the point is little bit different. There are only two specific paths discussed here in sloka number 5.5. The goal of these two paths is to free from material bondage. Krishna is saying that both these paths can free us from this bondage, which is the vital point is that that we should become free from the bondage, and only when we are they are done with the detachment, no, only when so we get free from bondage only when we act with detachment. One can have authentic renunciation where one becomes completely detached from this world. He renounces all activity and all involvement in the world. So the other is one as detachment and he acts in the world. The point is that with detachment, both the paths will lead to liberation from this world. Which of this path is adaptable to us? Activity is natural to us. Thus, adapting detachment while acting is natural to us. Giving up activity is unnatural. So in this verse, Krishna is not giving a comparison of these paths. He has already given recommendation that action with detachment is better. This was the conclusion from the third chapter itself. Now we need to understand how the destination of the two paths are same. Here, there is a hierarchy that Karma Yoga is the base, Jnana Yoga is better than Karma Yoga. Superior to Jnana is the Bhakti Yoga. In this verse, we see the destination of Karma and Jnana Yoga, Karma Yoga and Jnana Yoga is the same, which is liberation. In third chapter, we have seen the spiral. So if we, this is the spiral. In this spiral, the point is that even if we are good in practice of Jnana Yoga, Arjuna should practice Karma Yoga. By practice of Jnana Yoga, Arjuna will become a Mithya Achari. So in this chapter, Krishna is taking the discussion to a higher level. He's saying that the result of Jnana and Karma Yoga are one and the same, though practice of Jnana Yoga is at the higher level. The results are same. The destination that is attainable by Jnana Yoga is attainable even by Karma Yoga. Both are practiced to get liberation from material bondage. So this is what is Ekam Shankyam Cha Yogam Cha. Ekam Sankyam Cha Yogam Cha. The person who sees that Karma Yoga and Jnana Yoga are same is the actual seer. This line is Yaha Pashyati, Sa Pashyati is there in one more shloka, which is 13.28. Um, we will stop here. This requires a larger discussion, and we can do this discussion in our next class. We'll stop here. Thank you very much. Thanks for joining this discussion. वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभैश्च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। ग्रंथराज भगवद गीता की जय, जगत गुरु शिला प्रभुपाद की जय, अनंत कोटि वैष्णव की जय। गौर प्रेमानंदे। हरि हरि। कृष्ण कृष्ण।